Hi guys, Tony here from Proactive Therapy. It is week 2 of our lockdown here in Chicago due to coronavirus. And talking with my clients and colleagues this week has been leading me to reflect a lot on this time and what it says about what's important to us. I'm talking with a lot of people who are practicing good social distancing by staying at home. And I'm thinking a lot about the question of how we begin to make sense of these weeks spent at home and what we can learn from the experience. Dostoevsky wrote once that human beings can get used to anything. That seems like a pretty tall order so far. One of the things that I'm feeling and that I've heard from a lot of the folks I work with is that what is particularly hard about the current moment is the not knowing. Not knowing how long this will last, not knowing what will happen with our jobs, not knowing what will happen to our loved ones. So much uncertainty. It makes me think of Viktor Frankl, who was a survivor of Auschwitz. I wrote a book about it. And he described the experience of being in a camp as a provisional existence. He said the most depressing part of being a prisoner in the camps was the not knowing how long it would last. He wrote that those who couldn't see an end to the provisional existence weren't able to aim toward an ultimate goal in life, leading to a loss of sense of self and a sense of lifelessness, a lack of direction. And in a similar way, we're all facing a really uncertain future. Thinking about how we're going to respond. Frankl would say that even in those darkest of times, there was an opportunity and a challenge to live a meaningful life. And I think this offers an important clue about how to consider the ways we structure our time, both now while we're at home, as well as in the future, when all this ends. It's my sense so far that we're all experiencing grief of some kind. Maybe we have a loved one who is sick. Maybe we're faced with the prospect of losing our jobs or our savings. Maybe we're faced with the possibility of canceling a vacation or a baby shower or even a wedding. Everyone I've spoken to so far has been asked to give up something important for the greater good to help mitigate the spread of the virus. I'm curious, for you who's watching this, what have you given up? If you'd be willing, for a moment, allow that loss to show up for you. Notice the feelings that arise with that loss. Perhaps sadness, anger, anxiety. And if you could just take a moment and allow that feeling to be with you, to communicate something to you, to tell you why it's here, what would it say? it's it's usually the case that painful emotions and values are pretty intimately connected. What does this pain tell you about what's important to you in life? Last March, there was a profile in the New York Times on Michael J. Fox, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's over 20 years ago. And one thing he said really stood out to me in the article. He said he has given the disease the room to do what it needed to do, and at the same time, it has left him areas that he could still flourish in. As we all face the provisional existence that this virus is bringing to our lives, I'd ask you to pause and slow down when you can. In these extra moments you have in your days, and consider, what do you miss about your old life? And what does that say about how you want to live life in the future? And crucially, what does it say about how you want to live now? Frankl would say that we have an opportunity now to create meaning by challenging ourselves to move in the directions that are important to us. We don't know what the future will bring, but we can bring our attention now to how we might find meaning today. On behalf of all of us here at Proactive, we're wishing all of you the best during this time. Stay healthy and hang in there.